Will we finally have our starting quarterback for the 2022 Steelers season? We think. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another video here on the channel. I'm Jeffrey Kirby. I wanted to bring you guys this video because we just had some news that came out. We officially saw the Steelers 2022 depth chart. Now, we're not going to go into the whole entire thing because we're saving that for Thursday on the Renegade Roundtable podcast. But I do want to specifically talk about the quarterbacks here in this video because, of course, the quarterback's the most important position now, isn't it? And it's been the most controversial for the Steelers in 2022. So, of course, to most of us, this is not a surprise. Mitch Trubisky was labeled as QB1 for the Steelers for Week 1 against the Bengals. Again, 95% of us, this is not a shock. There were probably 5% of people that said maybe Kenny Pickett would have a shot, and there was absolutely 0% of people who thought Mason Rudolph, because why the hell would he actually start? Now, looking into this with Mitch Trubisky, again, we were not surprised whatsoever. This was a situation that the moment that they signed Mitch Trubisky and to the moment that they drafted Kenny Pickett, we kind of figured unless Mitch Trubisky came out and was just absolutely abysmal and Kenny Pickett looked like the second coming of Joe Montana, there was not a chance in hell that Kenny Pickett was legitimately going to have a legit shot to get the QB1 job. We saw this from the beginning point of camp. The moment that we saw that Mitch Trubisky was pretty much getting all the first team reps, we kind of figured, okay, this is not a real competition. It's going to be Mitch Trubisky. And for me, I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with this because here's the thing. And you'll hear this a lot, but it's true. It's easier to go from Mitch to Kenny than it is to go from Kenny to Mitch or from Kenny to Mason Rudolph. Now, here's the thing, and here's an example. I live in Cleveland, so you know, a lot of people might be watching this from Cleveland. Here's an example for you guys. Remember 2017, your guys' 0-16 year. You guys started off with DeShone Kizer, went to a different guy, I don't know who the hell it was, and then went back to DeShone Kizer. How did that work out? Did not work out. And I'm not saying that Mitch Trubisky or that Kenny Pickett's going to be DeShone Kizer bad, because that was just overall bad, but that was also on a bad team. But here's the thing, that it's the principle of you mess with a rookie's mental really bad when you do that. Now, there were some situations where, and here's what I like about this situation for the Steelers. You're in a situation where you do not have to start your rookie quarterback right away. You don't have to do that. Like, for an example, with Jacksonville, with Trevor Lawrence. You had to start him. With the Bengals and Joe Burrow, you had to start him. I mean, you go back. And here's the example. And there was a clip from the 2018 draft when the Jets selected Sam Darnold. And they talked about how you didn't have to start him right away. Although they did, it was that kind of situation that you had with the Steelers where you didn't have to start him because you have a guy, Mitch Trubisky, who has playoff experience, who has a winning record in the National Football League, and you can feel comfortable with him coming into Week 1 and feeling a lot better than maybe having a guy in Kenny Pickett, and you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get with Mitch Trubisky. You don't know what you're going to get with Kenny Pickett. I think that, and especially with Mike Tomlin and the way that they work, they didn't want to throw him to the Wolves. They didn't want to throw Kenny Pickett right to the Wolves because if he goes out there and has a bad game, things are going to be looking a little weird. And here's the other part that's interesting about this as well. When you look at the actual depth chart, it goes from Mitch Trubisky to Mason Rudolph, then to Kenny Pickett. For some, this may be a surprise. For a good amount of people who truly understand how the Pittsburgh Steelers work, this was not a surprise. Go back to 2004 when Ben Roethlisberger was a rookie. And what was the depth chart then? You had Tommy Maddox, Charlie Batch, then Ben Roethlisberger. Tommy Maddox got hurt, you went to Ben Roethlisberger, and the rest was history. And here's the thing. I think putting Mason Rudolph at QB2, again, I think the thing that the Steelers are looking at when it comes to this, they feel like it's a lot easier to put a guy that has NFL experience, say for example, week 2, or just a random example, week 2, the Mitch Trubisky gets hurt, and you would feel a lot better knowing that Mason Rudolph, who knows the offense, could come in a split-second time like that to come in and at least play for a little bit. And then if it goes on further, then if you want to go with Kenny Pickett, you absolutely can do that. But it's just that overall principle of It's a lot easier to go with a veteran in a crunch situation when your QB1 gets hurt rather than having to go to the rookie. And here's an interesting thought when it comes to at least Mason Rudolph being QB2 here. If you're I almost said Kevin Colbert, wow. If you were Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin, and the Rooney family, and you're looking to trade Mason Rudolph, it looks a hell of a lot better if you have him as QB2 rather than QB3. So that's kind of an interesting thought, because if you have him as a QB2 as your backup, it just looks a whole lot better when you're trying to package him and you're trying to convince another team to go after him. It just looks a lot better to have him as QB2 rather than QB3. That's just kind of my thing when it comes to this. I'm not surprised by it at all, and I want your guys' opinions. Drop a comment down below. What are your guys' overall thoughts on the Steelers with their QB1 being Mitch Trubisky? Let me know down below. I do want to say thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you guys did, smash that like button, hit the red subscribe button, drop a comment, and until then, hope to see you guys in the next video or the next live stream this Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Till then, have a great week. Stay safe. Go Steelers. Peace out.